Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. I am Dr. Asad Abbas. This lecture is divided into three parts. In part 1, we will see some introductory concepts to software design and architecture. In part 2, we will discuss the relationship of software design and software architecture with the software quality. Whereas in part 3, we will see some quality assurance approaches for software design and architecture. So, what is software architecture? There are a variety of definitions for the architecture of software system. For example, the definition by the IEEE Computer Society states that the architecture is the fundamental organization of a system embodied in its components, their relationships to each other, and to the environment, and the principles guiding its design and evolution. So according to this definition, architecture is more about uh, organization of different components or structures or modules and their interrelationships with each other. Similarly, another definition of architecture states that the software architecture of a system is the set of structures needed to reason about the system. The discipline of creating these structures and the relations among them. So, the architecture of a software system is in fact the set of principal design decisions made about the system. Then, what are goals of the architecture? The primary goal of the architecture is to identify requirements that affect the structure of the application. A well-defined architecture, in fact, reduces the business risks associated with developing a technical solution and serves as a bridge between the business and technical requirements. Besides the functional requirements, development of like effective, efficient, and market competitive development is also an important architectural goal. Since a well-defined architecture contributes towards the development of quality software products, therefore it helps organizations gain the confidence of the external entities, for example, the involved stakeholders as well as the potential clients or customers. Then, what is software design? While software architecture is responsible for the skeleton and the high-level infrastructure of a software, the software design is responsible for the code level design, such as like what each module is doing, the classes scope, and the functions purpose, etc. It deals with, in fact, representing the client's requirements as they are described in software requirement specification document into a form that is like easily implementable using different programming languages. So it is also important to mention that the software design phase is in fact the step in software development lifecycle, which moves the concentration from the problem domain to the solution domain. That is, the focus here shifts from the identification of the problem to the development of the solution. Moreover, in software design, we consider the system to be a set of components or modules with clearly defined behaviors and boundaries. Here we discuss the phases in the design process. As can be seen in this figure, that the design process can mainly be categorized into architectural design, high-level design, and low-level design or detailed design. So what is architectural design? The architectural design is the highest abstract version of the system. It identifies the software as a system with many constituent components interacting with each other. In fact, here the system has single entity, multiple components view, whereas high level design breaks the single entity, multiple component concept of architectural design into less abstracted view of subsystems and modules and depicts their interaction with each other. For example, as can be seen in this figure, that at this stage the focus shifts to activities such as interface design and component design. So high level design focuses on how the system along with all of its components can be implemented in the form of modules. Then the third phase is low level design or detailed design. Detailed design deals with the implementation part. That is, it is more focused towards modules and their implementations, particularly the data structure design and the algorithm design. In the next slide, we will see what is a relationship between architecture and design. So here we will see what is relationship between the software architecture and the software design. There is a general perception according to which architecture and design are considered as the same activity, or some people think that architecture is the phase of software life cycle, which is not correct. In fact, there is a distinction between the two. The software architecture actually focuses more on the interaction between the externally visible components of the system. By externally visible components, we mean that like the structures or the modules of the system. Whereas the design is about how the internal components of the system interact with each other. Likewise, software architecture is more about what we want the system to do, whereas software design is about how we want to achieve that. Moreover, software architecture is at a higher level of abstraction than the software design. That is, in architecture we are like focused on the interaction design of the system's components with each other, whereas in the design we are actually more concerned with implementation details or interaction of the internal components of the system. Software architecture is concerned with issues beyond the data structures and the algorithms used in the system. For example, the architecture is concerned with interaction between the components so as to enhance the quality in various dimensions, such as in terms of its performance, reliability, scalability, etc. Therefore, the two concepts they are actually significantly different from each other. The materials in this video are based on these two sources. For more details, you can consult these sources. In the next video of this lecture, we will discuss the relationship of design and architecture with software quality. Please watch that video. Thank you.